That's us recording. Right. Kath, you talk to me over.
Looking in the camera.
No, you don't need to look at the camera, you just talk to me. I'll get you from the side, just talk to me as if normal. Right, now you're here in Perth. And why are you here in Perth?
I'm visiting family, my husband's nephew and his wife, and his children, Callum and Marie, and their two children, Ryan and Molly, Callum's sister, Helen, her husband, Angus, and his two nephews, Callum's two nephews, Jude and Luke.
Now, that isn't a local accent here in Perth, so where do you live yourself?
I live in the United States, New Jersey, a small town, Kearney, New Jersey.
Kearney, New Jersey. Now, New Jersey, there's lots of people watching this, and maybe going to know a few people from New Jersey. Who are the musicians that are famous from New Jersey?
Oh, Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi.
And Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce was here recently, doing Glasgow. Now, you've a connection with people here, but we're going to talk today about a connection that goes right the way back to Germany.
Right.
And you're going to bring us through and tell us how you personally have a link to the Titanic. So tell me about who it was you knew that was on the Titanic.
It's my great-grandfather. It's my grandfather, my mother's father.
Uh-huh.
And he was born in Germany. Apparently, we hear he had 10 brothers, and his parents died when they were young. And an aunt and uncle took over. They had a sheep farm, and they weren't very good to the kids. And my grandfather, Charles Decker, ran to sea when he was 9 years old.
He ran off to sea
yes.
when he was 9. Now we can look this guy up, Charles Decker, and could you spell Decker for me, because we've all got computers now, they're going to Google it.
D-E-C-K-E-R.
D-E-C-K-E-R, Charles Decker, and he ran off to sea. He ran off to the Merchant Navy.
And yes.
And that was from where in Germany was he? Where
he was born in Bremen.
Born in Bremen.
Right.
And the first ship, do you know where he ended up?
The last ship he was on was the Ryan.
The Ryan, okay.
And then he went on, the Titanic was built in Belfast.
Yeah. And
he was a fireman. He left on the maiden voyage.
Right. Now when you say he was a fireman, do you know what that was?
On the ship,
Can you tell us a bit about
it? He was the fireman when they go down and they stoke the coal on the ship.
Right, because with these ships in these days, it's cold. It's cold, so it's fuel to take on.
Right.
So he's a fireman on the ship, on the Titanic. It's the maiden voyage.
Yes.
We all know where this is going to finish up.
Right.
But he didn't perish on the Titanic.
No. They went from Belfast to Southampton, and that's where all the passengers were boarding.
Uh-huh.
And apparently, what I know of, he had an argument aboard ship.
There's a bit of family dirt.
Right.
So he had a bit of a fight here?
He had a bit of a fight. He had a black eye.
And what age was he?
In his 40s.
In his 40s, so he was in a fight in his 40s. Do you know, he deserves a bit of respect for getting thrown off his ship in his 40s. There's a bit of life in him.
Right. And his oldest son, Jack,
yeah.
My uncle,
yes.
He was already in the States, in America.
Okay.
And when he was waiting on his father, was going direct to New York, and he thought when the Titanic went down, his father was on it.
Yes.
My mother and her mother and the rest of the family in Belfast thought he had went down. They thought he was dead.
Yes.
He came in about 2-3 weeks later, as there wasn't a lot of shipping then. There were no phones.
No, no.
And he came in about...
Where did he come into?
Belfast.
So he made his way back from Southampton
on another ship.
to Belfast.
On another ship into Belfast.
Yes.
Now, when he was there, then he came to this immigrated to the States.
Yes. And the island, I don't know if people watching this, but Ellis Island, it's now closed, that's where everybody arrived.
Right, well he arrived at Ellis Island and his name's there.
Yeah, for the name.
And when he arrived, now I don't know the exact date, but I hadn't seen or met my grandfather until my husband and I and the 3 children came here 1950 from Belfast, Northern Ireland, to the States.
The States.
And I met him then, and he died 54.
He died in 1954.
And he was 97.
So he had his life started in Germany. He ran away to sea when he was
9 years old.
He missed going down with a ship fighting.
Right.
Got a black eye.
Right.
Made his way back, and he still lived to tell the tale well into his 90s.
Right.
He almost made the ton.
And he would say, "Son of a sea cook, have you done something wrong? You
Son of a sea cook.
Jump up and down, you son of a sea cook."
So he was 97 in 1954.
Right.
But I'm going to ask them to work out what year he was born, and then don't you tell me. Do you know what year the Titanic went down?
Was it 1912?
It was 1912, and I was going to get them to look that up, but you've told us that. Well, you also have, just same as we're here anyway, see, with a connection taking you all the way back to Germany,
right,
to Belfast. Just to finish off, you have a connection to the White House, haven't you?
Oh, I have a son-in-law.
You have a son-in-law, and what does he do?
Oh, he was a congressman.
And he was a congressman.
He was, and 1990, President Bush,
yes,
was beaten, and Bill Clinton,
yes,
got in, and that was a Republican president.
Yeah.
And President Clinton was Democrat, and
yeah.
my son-in-law was a Republican.
Yes.
And he was from Indiana.
From Indiana.
Yes.
And was he there when Bush was in power, or was he?
Bush.
Was he still there when Clinton was in, or did he keep?
Yes.
Yes. So he was through 2 presidents.
And he was beat in he lost his, when he ran.
Yes.
He was beat in 1990.
In 1990.
And he went to work for the GSA. He was appointed to GSA.
GSA.
And when President Clinton came over, and there was a lot of changes, but his job, they didn't touch his job, but he resigned.
Right, okay.
And he went back to Indiana, LaPorte, where the family business is.
Right, so is he back in Indiana now?
And that's where he lives, and they have 3 girls.
Yes.
Allison is 27. She graduated Dartmouth University. Caitlin, Allison was 13 and a half months when Caitlin was born. Caitlin graduated Boston College as a starter of the soccer team.
Very good.
Their sister Morgan, she was 4 years later after Caitlin, and she also played for Boston College. And she just graduated in May this year.
That's great. Well,
Now Caitlin, right now, she volunteered for grassroots soccer, and she's in Cape Town at this moment.
In South Africa.
In South Africa. She volunteered for 1 year, and that's where she's at.
So from South Africa, so our journey today started in Germany.
Right.
With a guy who ran away to sea at 9 years old.
Right.
And it finishes with a young girl teaching football,
right.
as we call it over here. It's American football. Teaching soccer, teaching football in South Africa.
Right.
Thank you very much for sharing your story
All
with us.
right, Colin.
Thank you, son.